direct from the web, it's Billy Masters Live. And now, please welcome your host, Billy Masters.
Oh my God, we're live. Come on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Billy Masters Live. I am, of course, your host, Billy Masters. And today is, oh my God, they're right on. Monica, thank you. She's right on target. Today is Thursday, October 1st, 2020. And, I should look at my phone. I've been complaining to you guys. I'm in Boston still, and I've been complaining how cold it is. Well, according to my phone, it is 75 degrees outside, so that's not cold. And winds 9 miles per hour. See, I've decided that when it's below 75 in Boston, I don't like walking if winds are over 5 miles per hour. I'm not a fan of wind. So add that to the list. I'm not a fan of cold, wind, rain, or snow. I could never be a postman. Anyway, take it. Okay. Oh, Jesus. So anyway, I can't complain that it is cold because it's not cold, and it's gorgeous out. And frankly, I can't wait till this show is over so I can get out and take a walk because it's starting to get dark really early. So I don't like anything about this. I got to get back to California. If this pandemic could please end so that I can get back to my own apartment and warm weather and walk outside, I would be very happy. Okay, but speaking of very happy, we have some so exciting news that we just found out that well, first I'm noticing that there's a little ridge showing if you guys are looking at your screen on the bottom left, bottom right. Let's see if I can move it. Let's see. There you go. Okay, gone. Anyway, we have some really exciting news. So this show just keeps getting more and more popular. And Tuesday's show with Lonnie Anderson, if you missed it, go to our YouTube page, Billy Masters TV on YouTube to watch it because it was maybe the best show that we've done so far. But the numbers are getting bigger and bigger. We got an email yesterday night, I guess, from Apple. And you know how I always make fun of anybody who has an I anything? I'm very I anything. Because I think they're like a cult. I think they're like the Scientologists, frankly. But I can't say that because I just got an email last night from Apple. It was from iTunes wanting to pick up Billy Masters Live as an official podcast. Now, the two things that means. Number one, it means we're popular enough and we're getting to a wider audience and people want to listen to the show. Great. The downside, I guess I should take as an insult, is that people would rather listen to it than watch it. Now, I don't really know what that means. Should I take a little insult to the fact that people don't want to look at me, but they want to hear me, this voice? Anyway, so I just got notification this morning. We said yes. We did some paperwork last night. We signed the forms. And I just got a notification on my phone just before we went live. If I had known, I would have made a banner that we are now on iTunes. So if you are a podcast listener and you want to go listen to Billy Masters Live, and the only show we put up was the Lonnie show from Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to do all the old shows, but from this point onward, you will be able to listen to us as a podcast. So if you go to iTunes to listen to your podcast, type in Billy Masters TV, and it should show up in the next 48 hours. Google is also in the midst of picking it up as a podcast, and by Monday, Tuesday of next week, it will be across all podcast platforms. I don't know what's happening, but this is becoming quite a sensation. Anyway, that is the big news that just happened. And the next thing is I'm looking at my hair because my friend Freddie was complaining that on Tuesday's show the curls were too high, and he said I look like Betty Grable, which also tells you that I have really old friends. And then the show before that, I blew all the curls out and it was straight and I look practically bald. So right now it's like in the middle. I think it's fine. You can tell me what you think. And speaking of curls, so I've been telling you people every day when Meghan McCain was wearing the blue eyeshadow and then the pink eyeshadow, and then on her last show on The View, she wore this headband slash crown slash tiara, which, I still think she looks good. Anyway, the day after that, she gave birth. She was very cagey about when her due date was. She never told anyone. She said it was around the election, so we didn't know, was it October? Was it November? I had predicted all along that Meghan McCain was going to give birth early, recover so that she could come back to The View for the election. Meghan McCain was not going to want to miss this election. Sure enough, she gives birth here. Now, I don't know this for a fact. I don't even know this for a conjecture, but I believe Meghan McCain had a C-section and it was scheduled. That's what I think. Who knows? And she gave birth to a little girl named Liberty. Am I the only one who thinks that girl could grow up to be a stripper? Because really, you're not going to meet, somebody who's a vice president of a company named Liberty. A stripper, yes. So it's appropriate for this show. And the other thing is, I printed this out. So, because I like to bring you news. I last night finally, I'm very busy with the show and walking. That's basically all I'm doing. That I can't really get out very much. And I finally watched Dancing with the Stars last night. And, I pride myself on not hating anybody or wishing anyone dead or any of the things that my friends all say. Oh, I wish they die. I don't wish anyone die. I wish Tyra Banks would end up perhaps in a non-life-threatening coma and I wouldn't have to see her. That's all I want to say. Because she annoys me. She really does. And she's enormous. Anyway, so yesterday, an article came across my desk that was about the British version of Dancing with the Stars, which is called Strictly Come Dancing. And the whole idea came up of should they allow same-sex couples to dance together. And I have really, I don't care one way or the other, but I've always thought to myself that it's not a sexual thing, it's dancing. And if it's supposed to be a guy and a girl, then who cares? Graham Norton came out yesterday and wrote an article about this. And he said that he was against it because in mixed couples, a man and a woman, guys are physically more strong. They can do lifts. Women are more graceful and they're lighter and they can do certain things. And that if you had a same-sex couple, you were going to lose something and they really couldn't be judged the same way. And I have to say, I agree with Graham Norton. I'm sorry to say this, but I really do. I think that it's not nothing sexual. I mean, unless part of the show is you have to sleep with your partner, which God forbid. Because I hope nobody was sleeping with that crazy Catwoman who got eliminated last night. Spoiler alert. And just so my first guest knows, I'm looking in the little preview box and he's not there. And I'm coming to the point that I'm going to go to him, which means my second guest. Oh, wait, he just arrived. He put on a shirt. Oh, for fuck's sake. If there's any show online that you could be on without a shirt, or for that matter, pants, it's this show. Anyway, so Dancing with the Stars, I'm against same-sex couples dancing because I think it's actually a disadvantage to them. I don't think they'll have the versatility that they would have with a man and a woman. That's just my 2 cents. That and Tyra Banks, if she could just go into a little bit of a coma for 2 months, I would be happy. That's all. Okay. That's basically it. And now he's sitting there saying, when is he going to get to me? So a minute ago, we were talking about Megan McCain, that her daughter could turn out to be a stripper. Well, our first guest kind of knows a thing or two about the sex trade. Florian Klein, you may know him as Hans Berlin, was a prolific adult film star, as we like to say politely. He emigrated to this country, I want to say from Germany, even though I've made this mistake before, but I believe it is Germany, and has been very, very successful. And he had a musical which played in Los Angeles last year called Shooting Star, a revealing new musical. And I know I've got the thing right here. Where the fuck is it? There it is. Shooting Star, a revealing new musical. See, he sent me things and everything. And they're doing the show is coming back. They were in the works of going to other cities, but obviously during the pandemic, live theater is a thing of the past for the time being. Florian Klein is not the type of person to be sitting around not doing anything. He's a go-getter, and we are thrilled to have him back with us. Florian Klein, how are you, darling? Oh, let's see if he can hear us. Perhaps he can't.
I'm good. How are you? I hope that my video and audio is a little better.
The video keeps freezing, but I can hear you, so let's not worry about it. Oh, I see that you're wearing a Shooting Star t-shirt.
Yes. It's our merchandise.
Oh, I love when you just flex. There you go. So first off, where are you? Are you still in Provincetown, or are you down, or are you back in New York?
I wish I was still in Provincetown. I am back in New York, and I'm actually back home in Brooklyn. And it seems like my internet has died while I left.
Well, at least as I said, we can hear you and see you, so it's fine. What were you doing in P-Town, and was this your first time there?
It was actually my second time there, and I was just visiting a friend because as we're all doing a lot of staycations this summer, I wanted to leave the city a little bit, and I definitely needed to leave the city a little bit.
Did you fly down, or did you drive? How did you get there?
I took the train from New York's Penn Station, and hey, round trip $78 to Boston.
That's a great
and then the
deal.
Ferry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you took the ferry. Great.
Yeah, I took the ferry and I puked my guts out. It was
Did
awful.
you really? Oh my God.
I mean, they said you should go to CVS before and get one of those motion sickness pills. By the way, you were right with Germany, so English is not my first language.
That's all right. Again, your English is quite good. So,
thank you.
But it's funny. I haven't, I remember as a kid getting sick on that ferry, and I haven't in years. I haven't heard of anyone, but I know it's also, did you go during a storm? Because we've had some rough seas. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, what was it, last week when it was actually, it was a cold wave and there was a lot of wind and a lot of waves.
Yeah, it was cold, and I was complaining. So yes, but I'm glad you were able to go down, and because I saw pictures of you, it looked like you got some good weather, so that's good.
Yeah, and I didn't know that you were in Boston. I could have said hello. I mean, are you leaving the apartment?
I would have zipped down. I would have come. Yeah, I've gone down to Provincetown, I guess this past summer, maybe 4 or 5 times, but it was literally for a day. Like I'd go, because they were doing shows at the Crown and Anchor outdoors, and I had a lot of friends who were performing. So I would literally drive down, because from Boston, it's 2 hours. You just drive down, see a show, visit with some friends, have dinner, and then drive home. So it's no big deal. But I really missed spending time in Provincetown because it's just such a lovely place.
Yes, it is. And it was actually, I liked that it was a little calmer now. And the end of the season, it was nice. I really enjoyed it.
Cool. And you're now I'm trying to remember when we had you on before. You've been working as a home health care aide during the pandemic, correct?
Correct, because the mother of a friend of mine needed help, and I didn't have anything to do during the lockdown, so I moved to the Upper East Side. I'm a Gossip Girl now. I'm currently, as I said, in Brooklyn at my house. Today is my day off. But besides that, I'm a full-on caregiver now and take care of a 97-year-old lovely old lady. And she's she doesn't really need a lot of help.
Uh-huh.
But because she's like her physical condition is amazing for 97. I hope that I'm gonna be like that at the age of
Yeah.
97. But I'm there to be her brain and her help at some point or sometime, and yeah, full-time caregiver. It's been interesting. I'm actually writing my first play about that because the interesting thing is also that her son died of AIDS of another pandemic
Oh,
in '93. Yeah,
sure.
and him and his partner back then, they released a book called Living Proof, which is also the title of a Cher album, if you know that.
Yeah,
And
right.
Living Proof was a book like short before George the son died. They wanted to show that people living with AIDS, that it was not just sad, that it was also a revelation for many people being
Hmm.
confronted with a potential death sentence, and that it also taught them a lot about life. So they wanted to take pictures of people that are actually smiling and are still full of
Hmm.
hope and still full of life. And that became Living Proof. And I just ordered it on Amazon. It's a beautiful book, and it's really beautiful that there's also several people that are in this book are still alive. One of them is Tom Viola, who's now the
Oh,
head
sure. I
of
know
Broadway
Tom.
Cares Equity Fights AIDS. And that's
Right.
also why this connection came, was like, I want to raise money for you with Shooting Star. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Shooting Stars. So, for people who didn't see the show before, what made you? Because having been an adult porn star, all of a sudden there's a musical that you've conceived about your experiences, or at least somewhat about your experiences, but also about other people's experiences in the industry. Is that right?
Correct. I think everything happens in life for a reason, and the reason why I got into porn is probably to write about it, because
Really?
yeah, I had several years of research. Now it's 8 years of research, and the greatest thing was I did not get into this world that I thought I would get into. I thought like everybody like has this preconceived notion that porn, it's only crazy people, drug addicts, sex addicts. And I was surprised that I actually found a world that is much like Hollywood. And because I was trying to make it in Hollywood 70 years before that, and
Right.
it didn't become successful. And then I got into porn through go-go dancing, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, yes, there are extremes, but so has the music industry, so has Hollywood. But
I
it
was just
is
going
for
to
many
say
of us, for many
all that
porn
stuff you were
and adult film
saying.
actors and producers and everyone that's involved, it's a job.
Yep. Well, all that stuff you were saying about drug addicts and crazy sex and, bipolar people and all that. Well, that is everywhere, including Hollywood, the film industry, television industry, music, etc. So porn has that, but it also
Right.
has great people. I mean, I'm very close friends with a lot of porn stars and directors. I've dated porn stars. Which always seems strange to people because they find it very difficult to believe that as a porn star you can actually have a normal dating life with somebody outside of the industry, but it can happen. I don't know. Have you had that?
I always say like my dating life sucked before I got into the industry. So going
Yes.
into porn didn't really change anything, didn't make anything better or worse. I'm still working on finding Mr. Right. I'm
Hmm.
still single.
Oh, okay, everybody. He's still single. Um, Uh, did you find being in the porn industry that you had more opportunities, or did it limit your opportunities because you were doing that for a living?
I would say definitely more opportunities for sex.
Hmm.
Um, for dating, I don't know. Because the funny thing is that the times of the porn stars is
Hmm.
a thing of the past. So on
Absolutely.
Grinder and on Scruff, I have my name Hans Berlin on there, and a lot of people still think, oh, he's Hans from Berlin. So they don't know that I
Oh,
actually do porn.
wow. Yeah, I think that people don't
Yeah,
understand
so
that, there was a time when porn stars were really elevated to a position of, oh my God, he does porn. And now basically everybody with a cell phone or a webcam is a porn star.
yeah, totally. And this is also one of the moments in the show where the older porn star James Grant, who becomes a mentor to my lead young Taylor, who wants to try to make it in Hollywood, and then becomes a porn actor. And James remembers, I call it his wait, what's the name? Sunset Boulevard. Norma Desmond.
Sunset Boulevard,
Why did
yes.
I forget that name? I said like the Norma Desmond moment where you remembers the good old days of porn when they
Right.
were actually still stars, and when the pay was also a lot better and they were also
Oh, yeah.
treated like stars.
Yeah, and there was also, again, I'm slightly older than you, but there was a time when it was really hard to get gay men to actually do gay porn. So many of the gay porn stars who became icons were straight men. And again, it was just such a different time. And that's why people got paid so much, because it was really hard to get gay men to go in front of the camera. And now, of course, you can't keep us away from
Yeah.
the camera.
I also learned that back in the days, the only stars that gay men had were porn stars. Like your
Right.
straight brother had some football stars, or straight singers, or straight politicians, straight actors, and the only gay guy, even if they were straight, but the only
Mm-hmm.
gay guy that we saw that we could treat like a star were the porn stars.
Right.
And now it's definitely a lot different because, I mean, thank God times have changed, that you have singers, actors, politicians that come out openly as gay. So that's why we don't really need the porn star anymore. And like you said, everybody can become a porn star these days. Everybody has a camera.
Well, I think all, to be fair to all entertainment, everything is opened up, that everyone can be a
Yeah.
singer, everybody can be an actor, they can all release content on YouTube or whatever and be discovered. But also, there's so much awful work out there that you really have to sift through the bad things to get to the good. And frankly, I think most of the online stuff that people are calling porn, really, the quality is awful, but I don't think anyone really cares about the quality anymore.
Yeah. And I have to say, like during Corona, I mean, we're still in Corona times, but definitely during the lockdown, where I didn't really step outside and I didn't meet anyone,
Uh-huh.
I felt related to the AIDS epidemic when people were sitting at home and jerking off, and not doing anything else because it was too dangerous. So once again, porn, like the AIDS epidemic, saved a lot of lives because we had something to look at while we were in quarantine, and we're
Yes,
not
and I
supposed to be
think
hooking up.
well, you're not supposed to be. That's right. I think that was it Pornhub that really was like opening up and like giving
Yeah,
porn away, and they didn't require people to
yeah,
pay, because they're givers over at Pornhub. And
yeah,
it seems that the porn stars who actually were in lockdown with a partner who did porn were still able to produce material. Which I guess good for them.
yeah. Yeah, but a lot of like porn studios were on hold. They are now back with with restrictions. Same thing as Hollywood or filming in New York, like legit filming. The same thing
Mm-hmm.
with porn now. Like I think like the major studios are back, but definitely during the lockdown, like nothing happened, which also meant there was a lot of hardship for not just legit actors, but also for porn performers, for adult film performers, or everybody involved in the industry. And that was also one of the reasons why I decided to use all the time that we have and put together this fundraiser, and not just to raise money for Broadway Cares, but also for Pineapple Support, which is a nonprofit organization that offers free and affordable mental health care to all performers or all members of the adult film industry.
Oh, that's great. And where are
It can
they
be
located? Are they located in Los Angeles or based?
good question. I know
I should have known. I
uh,
don't know.
Leia, the founder, is in Ibiza. Yeah,
Oh,
Leah, the
wow.
founder, is in Ibiza. Like we had a Zoom call when we talked about raising money for them, and then yeah, and Kelly is in London. I think they are all over the place, but they have a
Hmm.
network of licensed therapists that come through Pineapple. Like my amazing therapist is Ingrid in Miami, and I see her once a week now via Zoom, thanks to
Oh,
Pineapple
wow.
support.
And
Yeah.
so there's really everything. It's healthcare, mental health care, it's other types of support.
Right. It's mental health care, and emotional support that they offer. So not
I'm
healthcare,
looking
but
right
is it
now.
mental health
So
care therapy?
yeah,
But they
so
also have workshops.
I'm on their website now.
Yeah.
So pineapplesupport.org, people can go to 24-hour online emotional support as well as free and subsidized professional therapy if
Yeah.
they've been
And
active in the adult industry within the past 6 months.
do you know why it's called Pineapple? Have you read that? Because I think it's on their website too. Why it's called
No, you'll
Pineapple?
have to tell me, but I could look it up. But why don't you tell me?
Because I was like, pineapple, maybe because a pineapple is shaped like a vagina. I haven't seen a lot of vaginas in my life, so maybe I thought maybe that's why. I don't know.
See,
But pineapple is actually
I was thinking of the musical Cabaret, and I think the pineapple is like
yes.
something you give people to like welcome them into your home, or
Mm.
it's prosperity or something.
So pineapple, I've learned that too, is the most commonly used safe word when people are having sex.
No,
So
really?
yes, yeah, it's the safe word, and it said like I guess like BDSM sex. If you need a safe word, people use
So if you say
pineapple.
pineapple, oops, everything's off. Like,
Right.
no,
Stop.
really?
Yeah,
Oh my
and
God.
that means like pineapple support is a place where you feel safe, where you feel supported, where you can be you, and you don't have to worry about judgment or of anything that's going on.
All
That's why
right, for
pineapple
people who
support,
are
a
for
great
people who are
organization, and we're raising
watching.
money for them.
All right, if people who are watching, text me what your safe word is and if you've ever used the name of a fruit, any fruit, pineapple included, because I don't know. What is your safe word?
I used the one that they did in Family Guy. There's an episode in Family Guy when they try S&M.
Mhm.
The safety word is banana.
All right, well, that's a
So I use
fruit. All
banana.
right, I can accept that.
It's a
And I
fruit
can
too.
kind of see why. I can kind of see banana being appropriate. Um, all right, so let's talk
Because
about
I
shooting
definitely
star.
think when someone says, sorry, I
That's
wanted to
okay.
do
When
some
somebody
sex
says
talk,
banana,
but yeah, I said when somebody
go
says
ahead.
stop, that's usually for me like a way of like, yeah, more. So that's
Well,
why
that's
a
true.
safe
So
word
if
is
they say banana, I guess that just sort of kills everything.
correct.
Okay, so tell me about Shooting Star. What made you have the idea to actually conceive of a show?
Uh, because I mean, first of all, I think every actor in Hollywood has always wanted to write a script, a movie. I never wanted to write a musical, but I shot with Jesse Aris pretty early on, and Jesse Aris is a porn performer who used all of his money to have his own music produced and was performing at Mickey's. I saw him in London as
Uh-huh.
well, all over Europe, and was performing his songs in a jockstrap and sneakers, singing "I'm Your Porn Star," "Callboy Ahoy," and I thought a singing porn star, someone who does porn, but he also has a dream of doing something else, and is using his porn fame to pursue this other dream. So I thought singing porn star, porn musical. Had an idea for the story, and one of the things I still love about this country as a modern day immigrant is you have a crazy idea, you always find people that say, hey, sounds good, work on it. And that's what I did. And 2 years later, I had my first musical script.
And you came up with the idea, but you didn't do a lot of the actual writing. Did you have to convince people to join in with you, or were people like put off and thinking, I don't see this vision?
I had to convince some people, but I actually did all the writing except the lyrics and the music, of course, because I can't write any music. I had written the lyrics before too, but then when I found my composer in Germany, Thomas Saufke in Berlin, where I actually had my first reading at the Gay and Lesbian Museum in Berlin. Yeah, thanks to Kevin Clark, who is the curator of the Gay and Lesbian Museum in Berlin, and he said we have an exhibition about gay porn that was in 2015. Said we would love to do a reading of the show, and I said there's no music yet. He said, well, let's just read whatever you have. And that also gave me like some time pressure to actually finish it, which I did in February of 2015. And then we did the first reading, and Thomas Saufke was in the audience, and he said I would love to write the music to this. But he was also the one who suggested I should get a professional lyricist to look over all the lyrics that I had already written. And then back in New York, I found Eric Ransom, and he's amazing with words. He looked at the things that I wrote and rewrote them and wrote some new songs, had ideas for songs where I wrote dialogue for. And it all came together, and now it's the three of us, and we're behind Shooting Star.
Cool. I didn't realize that it had taken, but of course I should have known better that it had taken this long to get to this point. So, how did the production in Hollywood come about? Because that was it last summer? Not this past summer, the summer before.
Last summer, yeah. It feels, 2019, it feels like forever, right?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's awful. So yes, I didn't know that either. I thought that I'm a genius and I write my first musical script, and then we're on Broadway in a few months. I didn't know that most of the Broadway shows have been in production for about 7 years. I think the average time that a show is in production, like in pre-production, is in development until the first production happens about 7 years. Because I saw, did you ever see Wicked when they did the tryout
in San Francisco? Yes, I did.
Yeah,
and it changed a lot.
I heard that it was not as great. Yeah. So yeah, I heard that it was not that great, and that's what you do. You do out of town tryouts, and that's what we did with Shooting Star in Hollywood. Because I lived here before, some of my investors were in LA. I said it would actually be a great time to do out of town tryouts, even though we're never going to be a big show like Wicked. It's not a love story set in the world of the gay adult film industry is not ready for, like, Broadway is not ready for us yet. So we're definitely going to be an off-Broadway show. But we said we're going to do the same what the big shows do and do an out-of-town tryout in Hollywood, and that's what we did last year. The
and I should mention
also,
to people, what I should mention to people is that it was at the Hudson Stage, which is a very respected theater, where a lot of things begin very small there and then go to medium-sized stages, etc. So it's where a lot of great shows have begun.
Yeah. Did you also know that there was a small one-woman show called My Big Fat Greek Wedding that started there?
Yes, Yep, it was there, and then it was at a theater near my house, which was the old Globe Theater, which is now I forget what it's called now. But yes, and Tom Hanks' wife just happened to go in and said, "What a great show!" And it was a one-person show. Right. It was Nia Vardalos, and they said, "Let's build this." And so again, in Hollywood, many shows start out small for two reasons. Number one, because they can pick up producers, which is really important. And number two, because they're showcases for actors. So many actors can be discovered in those shows. So it really is a win-win for everybody if it's a good product.
Correct. And I think, like, Taubert, my lead, is he actually still here? Is he still with us?
He is. I see him backstage. He's smiling right now, and he's waving to me.
Good, because I think, like, he got some auditions from our show, and he was and I think, like, he also got a follow-up show, like, right after Shooting Star. So definitely, even though we were considered a small show, I was really surprised by all the professionalism that all the actors, everybody involved, brought along. Because also small shows don't pay that much money. But as you just said, like, we were in a prestigious theater. The Hudson has great history. And the good thing was, it was not in West Hollywood. So it was on neutral ground because obviously it's a love story set in the world of the gay adult film industry. I don't want to call it a gay love story because love is love is
Right,
love,
sure.
but it's between two men.
Right.
So it was super. We had done everything in West Hollywood, so Hollywood was neutral ground. That also means we had a lot of non-gays that came to see the show, also agents and managers. And after starting out with an audience of a lot of older gay men, because we had some nudity in the show, we definitely got and we always love our fan base. But we definitely got a more diverse audience then, and we did some interviews after the show for to sell the show and get some audience feedback. And I remember there were these two young girls. I think they were friends of Taubert, and they had tears.
Oh, hold on. Now we've lost you. They had something. Hold on. Now we've lost you. Are you there? There you are.
There was a call that came in. Oh my God, I forgot to put it on I guess
You're very popular.
I know. So they had tears in their eyes and they were like, I never thought we'd get so emotional about a show about porn stars. So as I said, we also, as they said in Sex and the City, first the gays, then the girls, and then the rest. So
well, it's true.
And I will, for us.
Well, I also want to mention two things. Number one, while it was not in West Hollywood, the Hudson Stage is very respected, and people in West Hollywood go there regularly. So it's it wasn't too off the beaten path. Number two, you did put it on during Pride Month. So there was a lot of built-in publicity, a lot of in people should know in Los Angeles during May and June in particular, there are so many events going on and people are looking for things to do. So it's a very great time to do things. And the third thing is that you also marketed on different media like Gold Star, where people are always looking for something to do. And they're like, oh, and the feedback you got on Gold Star was really quite great. And well, we talk about that actors and singers and all kinds of performers can create their own profile on the web. Well, Gold Star gives everybody who buys a ticket the opportunity to be a reviewer. And so you're actually getting word of mouth, and most of the word of mouth was very good. And I should mention that one of my friends, who is one of those older gays, he was there, I believe, second weekend, and he had said, oh my God, I cried. He cried. Alan, you know I'm talking about you. So anyway, so there was a lot, and of course I tried to come in, as we've talked about before. There was a mishap the weekend I was going to go.
Right, and you were you were also traveling. You're always super
traveling
busy, right?
I am, yeah. And it was the last week I was in town, and I got to the theater and they said, oh, the show's canceled. So first I thought, oh my God, the show closed. And they said, no, that during the setup, that a woman cast member fell off her high heel and something happened to her ankle. Was that right?
Yeah, we love Carol. Carol Foreman is amazing as gay porn mama, Mr. Sue. She was the only woman in the show. She loved her high heels. And the second weekend, Friday, the end of Act 1, she falls over one of the set pieces and twists her ankle. And we had to carry her off the stage. We had to cancel the second act. We had to cancel Saturday, Sunday performances, because that's one of the things about these small theaters. We didn't have any understudies. So
you can't.
And everybody who saw the show after, she was actually performing with a cane. And a lot of people said, like, oh, that was so amazing. It grounded the character. I was like, no, she's not acting like she actually needs the cane. But we might keep it. We might keep it in there.
Just so you know, we just got a comment from Ari Gold, who, of course, gay singer-songwriter, and he just said, wishing Florian the best of luck with Shooting Star and hope to see it when we can all go back to the theater. And Ari, we're hoping you're doing well. We miss you. So.
Yeah.
So since we've mentioned Taubert a few times, let's bring him in. Tell me first how you found him and who he plays before I bring him in.
So funny thing is, as I said, Shooting Star is loosely based on my own experiences, but I started, I'm 48 now, so I started when I was 40. But when I wrote Shooting Star, I also wanted to make it a coming of age story. So I said the lead character should be in his early 20s. I didn't want to bring too much in there, making him a German immigrant. So my lead Taylor, who becomes Taylor Trent, TNT, because his
Uh-huh.
ass is dynamite. In the show, he's from Indiana, like he's a typical like all-American who comes to Hollywood to become a star. So we did it, as I said, professionally through casting. I never met Taubert before, and then he came in, and Michael Bello, my director, and me and everybody else in the team, we loved him. We got him in for callbacks, and then that's something probably that's a very interesting question that I actually haven't asked him yet. Callbacks means he had to get nude, so
Yes.
they had to strip down because the show required full nudity for the lead, and that means there is a body check before.
Yes,
I
there is.
think equity. I think equity has changed the rules now. I think maybe he knows more about that. But back then, as I said, last year in 2019, callback for a show that requires nudity means a body check. And I think that's a perfect question to actually ask him. How did he feel getting naked in front of all of us? Because he was playing a porn actor who had to be nude, who had to be okay with being sexy and sex. But he's an actor. He's a real actor.
And apparently has to have an ass like dynamite, which made him laugh
Yes.
backstage. So let's bring Taubert in. Hi, Taubert.
Hi. It's
I'm
good to
putting
see
you in the middle because I think,
Oh,
you know, playing the porn star, you should be used to a
yeah.
variety of positions.
Sandwich.
Uh,
Yeah.
so first let me ask you, where did you read about the audition?
Through my agent at the time. I got the audition as an appointment.
Okay.
And I kind of wrote it off because I trained, I did the whole actor thing, and I'm trying to make it here in LA. And when you get an
Mhm.
audition that says it's a musical about porn, that I just thought, oh no, that's kind of a joke. I don't want to go in.
Sure.
But the casting director, Michael Donovan, is very respected. So um, to be in his good graces, I took the audition and went in thinking, I'm not going to commit to this. I probably won't get very far in the process anyway, so I won't worry about it. But I did get called back.
Well, let me just interrupt. The interesting thing, and it's kind of a thread that when things come up on this show, you hear a lot of the same stories. So just so you know, Miss Lonnie Anderson was here on Tuesday and talking about getting the audition for WKRP, which she didn't want to do because it was written as a stereotypical dumb blonde. But she wanted to meet Grant Tinker, who is the head of the network, and Hugh Wilson, who is the producer, and thought, if nothing else, I'll make a good connection. But they were then interested in, she started with, this isn't something I want to do. And they said, well, how would you change it? They actually heard her input and incorporated that into the character. So you never know where things are going to lead. So
You
very
never
smart on
know.
your part.
And what changed for me was when I got the call back. I think at that point, or when I was offered the role, at some point I asked to read the script. And what changed my mind was that the script I read, and most of it remained as the show that was produced. Things changed, but the script I read it was not a show explicitly. This will sound weird. It was not written to be about porn in theme, and it was not written to be the themes were
Salacious.
not about. It was not salacious. It was not about gay issues. Even it was not an issue musical. It wasn't saying we're singing about the AIDS crisis, and we're singing about how disadvantaged we've been over the years. And it wasn't singing everyone go do porn. It was
Right.
a love story set in the world of porn, which I think
Right.
Florian did really well. And so it was able to bridge the gap for audiences who have no familiarity with the porn industry. And therefore, we're able to kind of have a more accessible approach to the show. And so I really liked that, and for that reason, I ended up taking the role.
Did you have any familiarity with the porn industry yourself? Because I would think that, going in with an idea, whether you had any people around you who were in it, is going to be reinforced if you had familiarity, but you may not have.
I didn't. I at the time knew no one in the industry. Florian, I remember sitting in the waiting room outside the audition, and they said, "There's a real porn star in there." And it was kind of like this exotic creature that Florian actually is. You actually are very strange, but in your own way, not because you're a porn actor.
Well, he's foreign, and he has a mysterious
really
air about him.
Right. But what I appreciated about the process, again, in creating this musical, Florian brought in people from the industry to kind of teach the whole cast about what that experience is like firsthand, because I don't think any of us actually had personal experience with anyone in the industry before that. So it was a good learning process.
And for you, I mean, I really don't know anything about you, so and you don't have to give too many details, but was there any issues in terms of playing a gay character?
No, I'm sexually fluid, and I support the whole community outspokenly. So that was not an issue for me. And again, the show was not, every song was not about being gay. It was about falling in love. It was
again, that universality you can identify with.
Right.
Obviously.
It was about the trappings of fame and the negativity that can come from bad ambitions. And so that's something, again, universal. And I think if it had been a show that was poorly written, which it wasn't, it may have been a different story. But because it was well written, I wanted to tell that story and embody that character. So,
was there a downside to doing the show? I mean, you went in, you sound like you're very open, you're enthusiastic about the material and about the opportunity. When you came out of it, had your impression changed on any way, like either good or bad, that you didn't expect?
My impression leaving the show was that I hope to do it again in the future, and I made some really great relationships with my castmates and with the creative team, and with the audiences who came to see it, and came in and sat down in their seats with programs in hand, thinking they were going to see a campy show where men get naked, and left again being really touched because they'd seen something that they could relate to.
What about the nudity for you? Was this the first time you had been naked on stage?
Yes, but my saving grace for my character was that Taylor, as a character, was very nervous because he was very new to it all, and so he tried to cover himself as much as possible in the scenes. And so I did not have to lounge around fully unclothed as some of my other castmates did. And so, and everything was tasteful. There was no simulated sex on stage, which I have nothing against. But in this musical, again, I invited my grandparents. They came to see it.
Wow.
All the way from Italy. So if they were able to see it, I think I was internally comfortable with the way that the nudity was handled. And Florian, you were saying about the callback process.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah, how was it?
Again, you all handled it. I actually don't know the equity rules around that now, but the whole team and the casting director handled it very professionally. And it was, I went into it thinking, okay, this is just part of the job. There's nothing salacious about this. No one's trying to make any sexual advances. And it was, I think I made a comment when we went in with a towel on and then had to remove the towel very quick, just a few seconds. And you asked if we had any tattoos, and I made a joke about having one hidden underneath. Anyway, it was a good, it was a net positive experience, which just kept getting better. over the phone.
Yeah, I would think it's got to be also a bonding situation for you and the other cast members.
Right. You have to facilitate a real sense of trust between each other. And I think in our first weekend of shows, there was someone in the front row who brought out a camera and started filming or taking photos. And the way that the producers handled that and handled the rest of the show's run about being really trying to create a theater that felt very safe, very respectful to the actors. You know, we don't want naked pictures of people out on the internet. You have to buy a ticket to get the experience of the whole show. I respected and appreciated Florian, you, and the whole team for that. So,
Florian, what were you going to say?
For the callback, didn't you prepare something special for the callback for the drop of the towel?
I guess it shows how little I know about the porn industry, but in my mind, all porn stars are how do I say, fully sheared down there.
Yes, they are. So well, not all of them, but a lot.
Right, and but that was my. So I thought, okay, that's who this character is. I'm just going to, gun ho down there, and I remember my agent calling me to offer the role. And he said, I've never had to make a call like this before, but they just want you to kind of go au naturel in private areas. But oh no, I didn't have to do that.
So grow in the pubes, basically.
Right, exactly.
So that was one of the things that I actually told Michael Donovan, the casting director. I said I love him, but tell him it takes place now, and now hair is back. Like people are like if you watch porn, we have hairy asses, we have hairy chests, and hairy pubic, like we have pubic hair. So that was one of the things that I said, like we love him, but he should definitely not shave down there.
Had you looked at gay porn before to prepare for it at all?
I actually looked up a video that you were in, Florian. Not really.
As well you should. See, this is a method actor. I enjoy
Not
this. Really.
It was not to get off. It was more to just see what kind of, in training and in school, you're told you should look up the producers of whatever you're auditioning for to kind of know what kind of work and what kind of thing they're looking for in whatever they're casting. And
what kind of work had Florian done?
I've done some very fun things. And so I looked it up to get a sense of what kind of porn and what kind of character you may have written, trying to get into your head. And I've watched porn before in the past, and so I know the world of it from that perspective, but I wanted to get a more specific idea. And you actually wrote a character that is inspired by you, but I think is very different from you in many ways, at least in different from the way Hans Berlin is portrayed online.
Did you come away from the whole project having learned anything about porn, either from playing the character or having to really inhabit that world on stage for a couple of hours every night?
Sure. I try to be a very open and accepting person with a policy of love first. And I think this was just another opportunity for me to put that into practice. I'm not a porn star. I didn't know much about the industry. I still don't to a degree. But I definitely left the show. A lot of the reason is because of who Florian brought in for us to meet during the rehearsal process. But when you meet these people and hear their stories, they're not these shady people off to the sidelines of life who you want to avoid. And I I had a sense finishing the show that even though I may not want to go into porn, I definitely have an appreciation for them as people. And anyone who kind of poo-poos that world needs to just take a closer look at themselves. And
I would also guess that you're going to also have some sort of a feeling of what it feels to be, for lack of a better term, objectified on stage, because people are looking at you in various forms of undress and looking at you portraying that role.
Right. I would say, again, because of the way the show is written, an audience member, I would hope, would leave the show feeling that they had not just objectified someone by watching the show, but really got a sense that they shouldn't objectify people. I mean, as a character, my character Taylor was objectified throughout the whole show. There's
I would
a moment
assume,
where
right?
he's in a porn casting director office, and he has to strip all of his clothes and be fully inspected 360. And that every night was hard for me, Taubert, because I was thinking, man, I hate that people have to be objected to this. And I'm sure that is so prevalent still in the industry. I mean, that's what it's the judgment of bodies. And so it was a lesson. I think people watching that moment, there was no music on stage. I was the only one naked, very out of place. I think people were more uncomfortable watching that and left the theater thinking that's a problem, not how hot was that, you know?
Well, especially because, as you said, you were uncomfortable, and that has to radiate to the audience.
Right. Yeah.
Taubert, go ahead.
And the character wasn't comfortable. I mean, I was uncomfortable.
Well, that's what I mean, right? When I say you, I mean the character. The character
right.
is supposed to be uncomfortable. And versus if he were, a pro at this and sort of took it as, another day at the office, the audience might have been more titillated by it.
Right. And there was a character, the character Jesse is played my love interest, is the love interest of Taylor in the show, and he represents that side of the industry that's just so comfortable and so professional about it, and just hangs around no clothes on, and so the contrast between his character and mine, I think, served to highlight that, exactly what you just said.
Since you mentioned that, just an interesting question. Now that you've done the play, say they wanted to bring you back, but they wanted you to play Jesse. How would that be for you?
Sure.
Now that you've done it, are you more comfortable with the idea?
Oh, I see. I would say there's a reason I was called in for Taylor, and there's a reason I was cast as Taylor and not Jesse in the original audition process. And it's not that I would have a hard time with playing, with taking a role that's not the lead. But I think if you laid out the character profiles in front of me, the one I relate to as a person most is Taylor Trent. And so if I was brought back for a future iteration of the show, I would want to play that role because that's who I relate to. And I think Jesse is a great role, but it's a different kind of person than I am. So I don't know. But that's an actor's job, I would.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Florian, since I didn't get to see the show, obviously, I would assume as a writer that all of these characters have some sort of resonance with you. Did we lose him? We may.
What do you mean? Him. What do you mean a resonance with me? A resonance with
well,
me?
Like you've got to have one. I'm hearing that there's one character who's new to it, and okay, we have one character who's new to porn and uncomfortable, but then you have another character that is very comfortable and has been doing it for a while. So I'd have to guess that you've been on both sides of that.
Of course, yeah. And I mean, all the characters are based on wait, I can't really say that. It's a work of fiction, and none of the characters based on anyone that I know. But yeah, it's all part of my imagination, and let's say it's experience, like it's experience in the porn world. I mean, when I did that the first time, I was super nervous, and and not just about being nude, it's having sex with other people. And Taylor has her first scene is directed by Mr. Pam, by Mr. Sue. That's actually the character that bases on Mr. Pam,
Right.
a real life porn, right? A real life porn director. She started out as an editor, and for Falcon and Chuck Holmes, he didn't want the audience to know that a straight woman was editing, or a woman was editing gay porn.
Sure,
so they
right.
put Mr. in front of her first name. So Pam Dore became Mr. Pam, and the character of Mr. Pam became Mr. Sue. So that's the director that directs Taylor's first scene. And so that means he's not just naked in front of strangers, but he's also having sex in front of a woman. And that happened to me the first time when I was shooting for a studio in London, and that was weird. It was very, very strange, because it was also a very young woman that was shooting pictures, and you also have to be comfortable when they're shooting, like especially those solo pictures, and you have to have everything ready already. But there's, as I said, a woman. That was challenging, I have to say. And I tried to put all of that into Taylor's experiences. Yeah.
And then I would assume that also this other character of the older, more comfortable porn star, you've lived through that because you've been through so much by this point in your career.
Mm-hmm. Right, but that was all inspired by people that I met, like Michael Brandon, for example. Do you remember Michael Brandon? He's still alive.
We're very close
anymore.
Yeah.
I remember Michael. When I started, he was still shooting. He was still performing. I don't know if he was still shooting porn, but he was still doing some live shows, and I interviewed him for the show and made a lot of notes. And he definitely, like James, the character of James Grant, is very much influenced by Michael Brandon, which he told me about him getting started in the industry and how they were flown first class and then were picked up by a limousine, and that they really treated like stars back then. So,
and that is true.
Yeah. And so as I said, all the characters in the show, they're somehow influenced by people that I met. But of course, they don't, except Mr. Pam. Like the evil porn producer, of course, doesn't base on anyone that we know.
Well, they may be based on someone I know.
Yeah.
I know a lot of good people and bad people in porn. I've been around, so.
Yeah.
Let's just say, Taubert, I'm a lot more fluid than you are. So let's talk about this fundraiser. Explain, Florian, what the fundraiser is.
So first of all, I think Taubert, when he did the show last say what?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I think it's really funny for Taubert and from all my other performers. We did the show last year in the summer, and then I came back in October. We did another reading to find more funding. Then I came back in January. We performed at the Straight Up Gay Porn Awards. Kathy Griffin was hosting them, and I loved it when Kathy Griffin says, "Here's the cast of Hans Berlin's Shooting Star." And then in May, I sent out an email because I saw what all the other Broadway shows were doing to still be in people's head while the lockdown is going on. I mean, Broadway is shut down until the end of January. Hopefully it's going to open sometime early next year. So they were doing these fundraisers and putting these in-house Home Alone Zoom call concerts together. And I thought that'd be a great idea. We can raise some money. And I sent out an email, and Taubert was one of the first to respond, said, I'll do it. And that was actually in May. And then we started recording. Everybody started recording themselves at home, thanks to what we said before. People have cameras now. People have phones that they have amazing quality. They can record themselves at home. We started doing that in May. Some of my performers didn't deal too well with the whole lockdown, so it took a while. Some performers also got hit by COVID, so we had to wait until they were recovered. So it took a while. And then when we were kind of ready, the Black Lives Matter movement happened. And I thought, it's a bad time to release it now because there's much more other more important messages, more important videos. And then I actually got in touch with Pineapple and had the idea not just to raise money for Broadway Cares, but also to raise money for Pineapple. So at that point, I reached out to all of my porn performer friends that I knew, and also to my famous friends, and asked them to record themselves. And that also added then a few months. And finally now it's ready. Matt Zarley, the wonderful Matt Zarley, did all the editing. He also does the music with Andy Zula. And tonight at 8 p.m. on our YouTube channel, I hope you have the link somewhere.
Yep, I do.
Yeah, at 8 p.m. on our YouTube channel, we're going to see the 7.5 minutes fundraiser that we created, raising money for Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS, and for Pineapple Support. And by the way, Broadway Cares, you know that, but maybe your listeners don't know that. They not just raise money for AIDS organizations, for HIV organizations. They also support the Actors Fund, which helps everyone that works in the entertainment industry on stage and off stage. So we're raising money for them. There's links on the YouTube channel where you can donate money. And it's also a great way of keep the show alive, of show people who haven't seen it, like you, what an amazing show we have. And it's also going to be an amazing surprise for my actors like Taubert, because he hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, see, now I have seen it, Taubert.
You have.
I'm not supposed to say that, but I have. So I should tell people, if they go to this link, they will be able to go to the YouTube channel. All the information is there. So, and we will also post it in the description underneath. If you look below, it will be there. So before we get to, I have a little teaser for tonight, but I also have something else that I found apropos of something that you just mentioned. You know, because I like to surprise you. So hold on a second. Now, Nana has to put on her glasses. Hold on a second. Okay, you know, this is what happens when you get a little older. You need reading glasses for everything. Okay, so got it. Okay. So I'm going to show you just a little bit of Taubert in action. Let's see if we can get to this. Let's see. And share. Okay, go ahead. Let's see if this works.
Probably not. Through the tireless hunting for what's hasty and hard, I always end up alone. Where's the love in all the lovers? Where's the love in all the lovers? Where's the love in all the lovers I've known? And now he's dancing with the angels, grinding up on kings and saints. 'Cause there must be sex in heaven. If there's not, I got complaints. But I'll see him when I get there, when I finally ascend. He was my love. He was my friend. You got to party like a porn star. That's what you are when all
We're going to stop it there because that's kind of the clip that we have. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can get rid of this. Oh, my God. It's very difficult, can I just tell you, doing everything on your own. Okay.
You have so many tabs.
Hello. I do. I have a lot going on. Anyway, so that was from the Straight Up
I'm surprised.
Porn Awards.
Yeah, kudos to you.
Well, that's what I do. I kind of try to find as many little things as I can. So that was from the Straight Up Porn Awards. Taubert, that was you. And who is the woman in that?
Carol Foreman. She's the infamous woman who broke her ankle.
That's the ankle woman. Oh, my God. Well,
she is so amazing and so professional.
Yes,
and it
we
was
love
a
her.
joy to watch her even for a second right now. Oh, I love Carol.
She is kind of fabulous. And I was supposed to be there that night. I was traveling once again, Florian. I keep missing you because I'm always on the road.
Oh, yeah, right.
And that was, when was that? That was right after the first of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
That was early January. Before we went to Vegas for the Gavians,
which I was a judge for.
Awards. For the Gavians, you were there?
Yep. No, I'm a judge for the Gavians. I wasn't there either. I do a lot of things and then don't show up. That's what I do. But so for tonight's show, tell Florian, explain to them what it is that they are going to see at 8:00 tonight.
So as I said, I feel like these videos look all like a Zoom call, basically.
My God, we got a little. Go ahead. Yes.
So what did you say?
No, go ahead. Continue.
Okay, so it's like a Zoom call. The actors, the LA cast and the New York cast, they all recorded themselves. And then we have friends and fans of the show. And we have our essential workers. So my adult film stars that recorded themselves at home. And we put all of this together, showcasing moments from the show. And it's also, some of the songs I feel also reflect what we're all feeling right now, because the older porn star James Grant sings those golden days where we remember how life was back then. And I think for us, it's like 6 months ago. How was life before COVID? And then this wonderful song that Mr. Sue, Carol Foreman sings, He Was My Friend, where she remembers someone that she lost. Unfortunately, that's also the truth during these tough times.
Right.
All the lovers as well. It's someone's feelings of loneliness, and they want to connect with someone. They want to find love. And then, of course, sometimes we just have to party, even if it's at home by ourselves, dance in the kitchen, dance in the living room, and party like a porn star in moderation, of course. I'm 48 years old. I've never done any drugs in my life, so you can party like a porn star. Also,
is that true?
Drugs.
Really?
Alcohol is fine.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
like cross my broken heart. No, I haven't even smoked weed in my life. Sex is the only drug for me.
Oh my God, I got to get you out more. All right, so we've got a little clip of Party Like a Porn Star, which people will be able to see tonight. Now, you've seen this, Taubert? You've seen the trailer, right?
I've seen the trailer.
Okay, all right. So thank God I'm not shocking you with something you haven't seen before. All right, so hold on. This is just a little clip of what you'll be able to see tonight.
You got to party like a porn star, 'cause that's what you are. When others go to bed, when we get to the bar, let go of inhibition, the rest are just swine, 'cause other people's living is our starting line.
Frankly, we don't get nearly enough Taubert. That's all I'm going to say.
Did we see anything?
Yeah, we did. Oh, Florian, are you there? Okay, good. We got him back. But there you are.
That's me.
That is you.
Yeah, I am. It's my internet connection.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, no, not everything's working. And that was our friend, Coco Peru, friend of the show. How did you get Coco involved, Florian?
Is everybody back on?
Oh, Florian may not be able to hear us. See, these things happen.
I
are you
did
back?
meet Jim Fall, No, I can't hear you, but can you hear me?
Yes. So talk about Jim Fall.
I am. Can anybody hear me?
Yes,
can you hear me?
Can you hear me? We can hear you.
We hear you, Florian.
Like
okay, now, okay. so I met the director of Trick, Jim Fall, last year. Before I think I'm in a major time delay. I'm in a major time delay right now. So I met Jim Fall, and he virtually introduced Coco Peru, and she was also traveling. I invited her to the dress rehearsal for the show, but we had to push that back. So unfortunately, she missed our wonderful show as well. And then in January, when I came back, they did the show Women Behind Bars. Did you get a chance to see that?
Yes, I was there. When you and I met on opening night. We were upstairs at the party together. That's all right. I'm hearing you.
Yes, we did. Did we? Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did. We did. Yeah. With Todd Makovsky.
Yeah. And that was that's when I met Coco Peru in person, and I reached out to her. I emailed her. I emailed Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I got them to participate in the video.
Cool. This is just some of the people. I mean, there's a lot of people in there. Taubert, how was it for you to revisit the material after so long?
Oh, so and
doing a self-tape, which I know all my actor friends are getting a little tired of doing.
Right. Well, that's part of the game, but
I know.
Florian, I originally sent Florian a video for this, and he responded saying it looks too much like a self-tape, because I do have a self-tape set up. So
yeah,
he said,
we all do.
Put it in your room where it doesn't look like you're doing an audition. So that's what you'll see tonight. It's in my very green bedroom. And it was wonderful to revisit the material. When you develop a show and you are in the process of creating a character, the songs and the lyrics and the just really integrate into your body. And so singing the music still to this day is very second nature to me. And it was fun to be able to do it at home.
And does muscle memory kick in? Does muscle memory kick in when you're doing it again?
Completely. And it makes you think, I wish I were able to have this type of muscle memory when I'm doing other self-tape auditions for musical theater.
Yeah, I know. I have so many friends that have been doing them during this time, and they're sitting there saying, could we just, we're doing calls like this to run things just so that they don't feel like they're doing it alone. Mm-hmm. So it actually, I feel like I've been doing more self-tapes than they have, because everyone's just calling me to be a scene partner. And I'm like, you can use me. It's fine. And,
God bless you.
Can I just ask you, I notice you have the orange wall here and you've got the green wall in your bedroom. So are you somebody who just enjoys color?
I love color. That's all it is. I don't know.
No, my apartment is the same way. And people are like, wow, it's like I walked into a fun house. And I'm like, I know. It makes me smile walking into my house.
Now everybody would like to know how you know the color of his bedroom. How do you know that?
Okay, I know the color of his bedroom from this picture and the fact that he said green, and, and let's see, I also know where the light switch is. Taubert and I have secrets from you, Florian, so back off.
Okay, I will.
Oh, wait, now, Taubert, I think you were frozen.
But very
Look at that.
interesting-
And yet he is frozen in such a perfect pose. Look at that.
Oh, totally.
That is, oh wait, he'll be back in a second. But Taubert, when you watch this back, that was the best freeze we've ever seen. You're back.
Oh, great.
Here-
Good.
No,
Here
you're
you
back. Thank you. What were you going to say, Florian?
No, I said I'm gonna back off. I said like I'll let you guys have.
Okay.
this.
Oh, good. Yeah. Frankly, I think we've seen enough of Florian. Goodbye. No. I'll bring him back. No, I'm just teasing you, Florian. I'm allowed. So I want to remind people. Yeah, well, that's me. That was my role in gay porn. I was the tease. So let's remind people again that it's the Bitly link is there. Shooting Star Musical. Also, if you just go to YouTube and type in Shooting Star Musical, you will find their page.
Right.
You're going to. I looked at the video already, and so people can get an alert that they can click on it, and at 8 o'clock when it is live, they will see it.
Right. So I didn't know that YouTube has a feature like that you can premiere
They
something. Yes, like now I know. So it means like at 8 o'clock tonight, it's gonna be
Eastern.
clickable and Eastern, yeah. It's gonna be watchable, clickable, and it's gonna live on our YouTube channel for a while. Our fundraiser is up with Broadway Cares. You can donate money to Pineapple Support. As I said, all the links are in our video description. But now if you click on the link, it says premieres, and what is it now? What time is it now?
It's like 4 o'clock, 4:20.
Yeah, so
it will be
5 hours,
premiere in like
4
3
hours.
and a half.
Yeah,
Three and a-
three and a
yeah,
half
three and 4.
hours. Yes. Funny thing is that it's actually like YouTube only gave me an 8:15 time slot, so we're gonna be 15 minutes late. But ever since I've lived in LA, I said, everyone in LA is 15 minutes late. It's the traffic.
It is absolutely. You know what? And well, we've had enough delays with you today. So frankly, it's a trend.
Yes.
At
Yeah.
least you're
Yeah.
consistent, Florian. At least.
Yeah. At least I'm consistent.
Yes, exactly. You're consistent in your tardiness. And I will just say personally, I'm a big fan of Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS. I've worked with Tom Viola for years. He's a great person. They put on so many shows. And I think people have to understand that Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS, and the Actors Fund, these are not just for performers. They take care of people behind the scenes, in theaters, ushers, box office people, lighting, writers, anybody involved in the arts. If you need help, contact them. They can help you with rent. As you said, Pineapple helps with mental health. But there's so many resources out there. And during this time, whatever you need, just look and you will find there's a lot of really good people out there who are providing help.
Even if Michelle Obama says that she suffers from depression because of COVID, it's completely normal to suffer right now. If you need help, there are places.
Well, I don't really know how we've really made that transition from gay porn to Michelle Obama, but I'm willing to accept it. It's fine. Maybe you know something about her that we don't in those WikiLeaks.
No, I think that's the other first lady, but we don't want to get into that territory.
Exactly. Well, that's true. We've already seen her titties. You know, and I just say that normally I have nothing against a first lady's titties. I'd still vote for him if that was it. But, it's just another thing. Frankly, although I really don't need to see Joe Biden's wife's titties. Keep them wrapped up. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am really looking forward to this. I have already seen it because Florian is a doll and he already sent me the link. It's a great show, and it's a medley also on their YouTube channel. You can see the Straight Up Porn Show Awards. Taubert, how is it for you to do that live at a porn award show out of context?
It was great. We had our cast members with us, and they're very supportive, and Kathy Griffin was right off stage cheering us on, so it's a good experience.
It's a really great show, and it's there's two performances there. There is the medley, and then there's another song. Is it two? Florian, you would know better than me.
It's just from a different perspective. It's the medley because
it is. Okay.
Because one of the things that I've also learned with producing musicals, how expensive everything is. because people said, you have amazing music, you should do a cast album. And a cast album would be another $25,000 to $30,000. And anything's
And that's
possible
before
if
we
you
get
have...
to see Taubert naked. So really,
Yes.
you know.
Anything's possible if you have money. So as I said, we need to start raising money again for the next production of Shooting Star. By the way, we're already talking about a film adaptation because it's going to take a while until theater is going to come back. So we're talking about a film adaptation, and there is talks, and Taubert doesn't even know that yet. There is talks about like an X-rated version and like a G-rated version. So
okay, so now there's two different versions, Taubert.
Well, you know which one I would want to be involved with.
Well, it is. I mean,
I think that they're all going to be one cast, but different cuts. Dare I say?
Oh, wow!
Correct.
Right.
Yes, it could be. Like there's a platform that's interested. I don't want to say yet, but we're already talking to them, and they suggested it could be, as I said, like a G-rated version and an X-rated version. And it doesn't mean that the lead actors would have to have sex, but it could be like some.
But it could be
other. Yes. Could be, or that there's actually some real porn performers in there. So it's
interspersed. That's interesting.
Yes.
Make it like a hybrid.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to come out like. Do you remember Short Bus?
I remember it. John Cameron Mitchell's a friend of mine, so yes, of course.
Yeah, amazing movie. But I feel like at that point, like I would love to have Taubert back, but I think like Taubert will probably not have a live sex scene.
Yeah, Taubert, don't agree to anything as your agent.
Yes,
let me say, we'll discuss it.
But yeah, so there might be a film adaptation sooner than there is another theatrical production because it's going to take a while. And my dream is I definitely want to bring Shooting Star to New York. And I would love to bring Shooting Star to New York when all of this is over. And Shooting Star, yeah, we break the fourth wall a couple of times where we integrate the audience into the show, acknowledge audience, and I think once we're allowed to experience all of this together, actors and audience, and we acknowledge the audience, it would be a perfect time to bring Shooting Star, especially bring Shooting Star to a place with where we have a liquor license where people can actually drink.
Oh God! Now he wants you to be naked with drunk people. Taubert, don't agree to anything. Not with me. We'll talk about this.
We will have a drink maximum. We will have a drink maximum because I don't want to get people too drunk, especially for the emotional moments in the show.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's when they'll be drinking. Taubert, let me just talk to both of you. So now, Taubert, do you have anything else going on? What have you been doing during this pandemic? Aside from self-tapes.
Self-tapes and similar to you, Florian, I'm writing some stuff. I feel like that's what every actor says in Los Angeles. But, you know, you fill your time. I'm learning to cook. I'm learning a language. I'm a pianist, so I'm filling my time with a lot of that because you don't have to rely on other people to play. Now, doing that.
Are you do you have a web page or social media that people should go to?
Yeah, it's just my name, taubertnadalini.com. That's my Instagram handle. You can find me and all my content there. Yeah.
All right. And Florian, what's your website? And Shooting Star Music, isn't it shootingstarmusical.com?
We don't have a website yet. At this point, like I was told, everything can be on Facebook or on Instagram. So it's on all the social media handles, the Shooting Star Musical. I had a Hans Berlin Instagram and got deleted. I think I don't know what I did, but I got deleted. And I'm personally not a big fan of Instagram. I think that's where my age comes in. Like I don't know. So I still haven't redone that yet. And I think at this point in my life, maybe also time to retire, Hans Berlin. But thanks to Google, thanks to the internet, once you
will live forever.
You will live forever. By the way, I think it's also funny that Taubert and we both decided to let our hair grow during the pandemic. It looks good, Taubert. I love it. I'm still trying to get used to my long hair.
Right, and I just cut the sides, but I've let the top grow, even though a friend is complaining that it's too long.
I like your little
contrast
up there. Yes.
My
And the little
schnecken. Oh, my.
schneckens. The schneckens.
Oh, all right.
Little curls
Thank you.
up there.
Oh, is that what my friend calls tendrils? So
Tendrils.
I said, well, look, I'll keep your tendrils to yourself. Anyway, guys, thank you for being on the show and good luck with the premiere tonight. I'm looking forward to hearing from our fans what they think. But I will tell them that if they go watch it, it's really fun. It's like, what is it, like 8 minutes long?
Yeah,
Florian?
it's 8 minutes long, and we're gonna do a live chat. I think Taubert, you're also gonna log in, and we're gonna do a live chat because the video starts at 8:15, but a live chat is gonna start at 8, and we're all gonna talk together. Yeah.
Although Florian will be late, so just Taubert, you're gonna have to hold down the fort for
We'll get there at
15
8:30. Perfect. Great.
Guys, thank you for being on the show. Taubert, it was a pleasure meeting you. And Florian, always lovely seeing you.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Taubert, for coming back and
Absolutely.
being our shooting star family forever.
You've been our shooting star, Taubert.
Oh,
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Well, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys. And everyone, thank you for watching Billy Masters Live. We will be here next week. We have such excitement. We have John McDaniel, who is music director for the Rosie O'Donnell Show and also director of many shows. He has a new project coming up with Audra McDonald, which we will be talking about. And we have Randy Roberts live from Key West. So it's an all Florida show. Johnny is in Fort Lauderdale, around the corner from my house in Fort Lauderdale, that I also haven't been to, which I really am looking forward to getting to. So anyway, you guys, we will see you next week. We have shows, of course, as always. There is a banner that says this. There you go. New shows every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern. So we will see you next week. Until then, this has been Billy Masters Live. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Wear masks, for fuck's sake. And just remember, if we're here, we're live. Bye, guys.